Welcome to High Point, the podcast that talks about public places, performing arts venues, acoustics, instruments, and music in general. My name is Marc Fuselier, Director of Atelier Crescendo, a consultancy specialized in acoustic design for buildings with a focus on performing arts facilities and timber constructions. I am very happy to welcome you to the very first episode of High Point. For this one, we went to see Zac Booth in Great Eastern, in Leicestershire, which is roughly in the middle of England. A few years ago, Zac set up ZDB Guitars to live from his passion, making high-end and handcrafted guitars. Zac told us a lot of very interesting things during the episode, and I can tell you the creation process and the guitars are incredible. You can see some pictures of the workshop and the guitars on his website, zdbguitars.com, or on the page created for the episode. Zac Booth, the perfectionist and talented luthier, it's now. Hi Zac.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
Can you tell us who you are?
Yeah, so I am Zac Booth. I make acoustic and electric guitars from my house in Great Eastern, Leicestershire. I'm currently moving into a new little unit though, so things should be, production-wise speeding up a bit, hopefully.
Cool. And have you always wanted to do it? Were you making guitars when you were a kid or instruments?
Yeah, so I've kind of been building random things since I was a kid out of wood and all sorts of stuff really. Built a couple of strange instruments when I was a kid that kind of got me into doing it. I'd studied art and sculpture and music at college, so that kind of drew me onto the path of wanting to make guitars. It's kind of carried on from there. Nice.
So what did you study after that, where you went to uni?
So I went to... I did an art foundation course after college, which kind of helped me decide what I wanted to do. And then I was searching for courses, and I found this musical instrument degree at London Met, which... I thought I've got to do that because it's kind of combining all the things I'm into, all the things I like. So I went there, started that in 2015, sadly we were the last year to do it because they shut the course down from lack of funding and from not enough people being on the course. Which was kind of sad after about 150 years or something.
Yeah.
So that was
They didn't stop it because there wasn't enough business, or there wasn't any jobs.
Maybe that could be another part. To be fair, another reason, but
maybe that's a question to ask them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's it was they were protesting about trying to keep it going. But nothing ever. They ended up shutting it down, I think. So it's did kind of play to our advantage because we had the workshops to ourselves.
You've got less competition as well.
Yeah, and that less competition. But it's kind of sad. But hopefully I can maybe, to be fair, I've been thinking of starting like an evening class to teach people how to make guitars as well. So that could be another nice little. Way to make money. But and teach and keeps the guitar making alive, I guess. I'm
sure some people would be interested in that. So they could contact you and
that'd be I'd love to do that, to be honest.
Cool. And did you, so the uni, were they just teaching you how to make guitars or other instruments as well?
So it's mainly guitars and other fretted stringed instruments. But we had people making. Someone made a mandolin and archtop guitars, classical guitars. Other people made old kind of 19th century copies or 20th century guitars that were kind of the double neck I can't remember what they're called now. It's on the tip of my tongue.
You'd find it again.
Yeah, it will come back to me. But
Cool.
all sorts of different fretted instruments really.
And so, do you know if you want to do a drum kit, for example? Do you know where you would need to go? Is it taught still, or?
I don't know about drum kits too much, to be honest, but I'm sure there'd be people who teach it. There wasn't a course where I went for drum kits, but I think they used to do. There used to be quite a few different musical instrument making courses about 20, 30 years ago at that same college when it was the London Furniture College. They did like woodwind instrument making, lute making, violin making and stuff like that. But I don't know about drum kits really. They might have done something like that.
Do you think there's obviously transferable skills working with wood and making instruments? You know,
you could
different techniques, but a lot of the knowledge you have could be applied to other things.
Yeah, definitely. Like you could probably figure out how to, because I don't know if drum kits are laminated the sides, so you could probably make molds, and it helps you figure out how to build other things as well. I guess just the skills of working with wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can. I'm sure I could knock off a drum kit at some point, but yeah, no, I don't know. It'd be interesting to try and figure out how to do it though, because it's a whole. I'm sure there's so many ways you can change how the drum sounds.
Yeah.
By tweaking little bits, changing like the size of the drum.
Yeah, and the
materials. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so, how do you keep up with your skills? Do you? I presume you still need to. There's a lot of skills you need to learn. How do you learn them? Do you on YouTube, or do you have somebody explain you things, or are you working with people?
So I've YouTube and the internet is so helpful. So it's so lucky we have that, because I can't imagine learning new things without it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good tool. But
so can you learn how to make a guitar from scratch on YouTube?
You probably could, to be honest. I mean, you'd probably have to fix a lot of mistakes, but and figure out the hard way really. But I think learning most of my skills at uni and at college, just learning how to work with wood, that does really help.
Yeah.
But little things like little tips and stuff. There's so many good like YouTube videos and other videos on the internet that you can take tips from, and you can figure things out yourself. I guess it's a good way of learning. But
is there almost like a community kind of luthiers and instrument makers, so you can sort of share information and help each other out, kind of?
Yeah. There's quite a few. There's quite a few Facebook groups that I'm in actually that are, you do get quite a lot of posts, people posting on there, other guitar makers and luthiers. But sometimes there's some crap on there as well. Like you do see some people like, I can't think of any examples at the minute, but people who are just, I don't know, making guitars out of things they shouldn't be making guitars out of, really. Like, but yeah, there's also loads of things that are really helpful on there as well.
Is wood the preferred material, or do you think there's other materials that could be used or are tricky to use, so they can't be used yet for guitars? Or have you explored any other materials?
I've only really kind of I've really only learnt the traditional way, so I've just been working with wood. But I know a lot of I've seen a few makers that have been making guitars out of carbon fibre and stuff like that, and I saw there's a guitar company who make like aluminium necks and like folded metal bodies, which is crazy. It's more electric guitars, You do get carbon fibre. I've seen a few carbon fibre acoustic guitars.
Do they sound okay? Or
I think they do sound good actually, but I've not played one in person. I've only kind of seen videos of them and stuff, but they sound good from what I've heard. But I just don't see how it would I don't know how it would compare to a traditionally made kind of spruce topped acoustic guitar, because I think that's just I don't know if people are kind of stuck in the old ways, but I feel like they've found the best way to do it 100 years ago or so. But when they were making them,
there's a charm to a wood, like natural resources built, and like some of the wood, I know you told me, is hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
So
how
do you get it? How do you get that wood? How do you find it? I've
got a few suppliers who I get wood from. To be fair, I've had some trouble in the past getting wood from Spain and stuff, because of there's restrictions on certain woods like rosewoods that it's a right pain. You've got to apply for permits and stuff and pay stupid fees when it comes into the country. But
really,
things like Madagascan rosewood I've built a few guitars out of, and while we were in Europe, like when was it, 2020 or 2021 we left, and since then it's been so difficult. Before then I could just get it ordered and it would come straight in, but now I ordered a set last year, and for a guitar I had to make of Madagascan rosewood, and that I had to apply for it because it's the CITES, it's like Appendix 3 on CITES or something, which means it's like an endangered species. So you can't actually like export it without having certificates and stuff.
Okay.
Which is it's a right pain. So since then I've been trying to just source all my wood from the UK, because it's just so much easier, and I guess it's supporting businesses over here as well.
That's quite interesting.
So it's I've also I've got a set of bog oak, that's the one I was talking to you about, Jake. That's I think it's carbon dated to 5,400 years old. Which is older than the Egyptians. That's an old oak tree that was submerged under a bog, which has been dug up 5,000 years later.
So how do they find it? How much is it? I bet it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it's quite expensive, but it's kind of the same price as like your rosewood or any other kind of high end guitar wood, really. But I think the farm it's from kind of around Norfolk, like around there. I think the farmers must just like kind of drive over it in the tractor or something, or when they're ploughing the fields and hit a big like log that's been buried for like 5,000 years. And there's a few people who go around digging them up and kind of drying out the logs, because they've been submerged. They've just soaked up so much water. So it turns the wood black. It looks amazing. It's
I'd be interested to know, from the stage of discovery and realizing, that wood could be good for guitar, and then there's the process, people behind it saying yes, you can use it, and processing it to make it.
How do you join the dots?
I don't know who would have thought
that'd be good to make a guitar out of. I think it's weird, isn't it? I mean, normally for a back and that would be used on the back and sides of an acoustic guitar. So normally you're after like a pretty dense wood that can be instead of like a soft wood. So it'd be a hard wood, and oak. I mean, I don't know if people I've never made an oak guitar, but I've seen that like bog oaks kind of quite a few makers are making guitars out of bog oak now, because it's quite widely available in the UK because it's found here. But it's crazy, really. Like. And
so, what's the benefit of it for the guitar? Is it easier to work? Does it make the guitar sound better or have a specific timbre? It kind of,
from the guitars I've heard made out of bog oak, they kind of sound a bit luty, kind of. But it's just it's a desirable wood, I guess. It's I don't think it quite has the sound of the rosewoods, but it's still really nice guitar timbre.
For those listening, there's a few guitars just in front of us, but is there any of those guitars that have it?
None of those have it actually. I've not built one yet out of bog oak. I've got a set that I'm going to be building one with, but it's I'm looking forward to see what it sounds like. I've only seen a couple of guitars built out of it, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out with one of my designs. So it'll be
You could make some tests and measurements, exact measurements of what's the difference between a guitar made with that wood and another type of wood.
It would be good to compare them, definitely.
I guess whilst sound is like a big priority in instruments, also the way they look.
Yeah.
As you say, they are pieces of art in their own right, just to look at. So it's also something that you must think about when you're designing a guitar. Of course, it needs to sound good, but also
it's got to look like it sounds. Yeah,
you want it to look the business. Yeah, which they do.
Definitely. They look amazing. Yeah.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, it's.
I think that adds to the. I don't know.
Just the feel of it
as a musician.
It's nice.
It does. Yeah. It inspires the player, I think, as well. If you've got something that you actually want to play because you love it, you're in love with it almost. So it's like it'll make you want to play more, and it'll make you a better player if you play more. So it's it kind of I don't know. It's a hard one to kind of.
So who do you make guitars for? Do you make them for specific people, or do you sell them in shops or online?
Yeah, a bit of both really. So I've got a few guitars in Moonflower Guitars in Oakham, which is a great shop. Sell all sorts of guitars, handmade guitars, for all sorts of budgets. And that's the only shop I have my guitars in at the minute. But I've also been doing a few commissions from people who want certain guitars made out of certain things. And I've just had a new commission actually, which is going to be really exciting, because that's the first one I've had that someone's ordered with my shape that I've been kind of developing over the last few years. So that'll be really interesting to see how that turns out. But yeah, I've also been getting quite a lot of repair jobs through this shop in Oakham as well, which has been very helpful. Do
you have a website where people can contact you?
Yeah, so you can find all my details on my website, which is ZDBGuitars.com or .co.uk, I think both of them. Or Instagram is ZDB Guitars as well. But I think all my contact details are on there, to be honest.
We'll put all the contact details in the description.
Oh yeah, wicked, yeah.
Nice. Cool. Can you take us through the process of creating a guitar? What do you start with, and how long it takes?
So it's you kind of I'll go through whoever wants the guitar. I'll go through a timber selection with them, choose the wood for the back and sides, top, neck, fingerboard, all of that kind of stuff, and then I'll basically I use all the traditional methods still, so it takes a while, but I'll hand plane it all the pieces of wood to thickness. So the back and the sides, they'll usually go down to about just under 2.5 millimeters, so around 2.3 millimeters thick. So that takes a good amount of elbow grease with the hand plane, and same with the top. That was slightly thicker. That's normally around 2.5 millimeters, or 2.7 maybe. Then I do all the bracing, which is another design I've been developing for the bracing design. I've kind of come up with my own quad X brace for the top, which normally it's just a single X. It's quite hard to explain without seeing it, but
we'll put some pictures.
But that's kind of I've kind of been inspired by there's a Scottish guitar maker, David Anthony Reid, who makes incredible guitars, and he's done a lot of kind of weight relief bracing and experimental bracing, which I've kind of taken a bit of inspiration from, develop my own design from that, really.
And
but yeah,
about design, you said your dad has made your.
Oh
your
yeah,
logo.
my dad helped me with my logo actually. Yeah, so he's a graphic designer. So he's it's very handy having him about helping me with my logo, my website and stuff like that. So yeah, that's very, very helpful, I've got to say. Yeah.
And what's next though in the making the guitar?
So I'll then do the neck, there's a lot of planing to thickness, so it's a lot of hand planing. Takes a lot of the time, and obviously the like finishing and stuff like that. But yeah, the whole construction of the inside of the guitar as well. I use, instead of a lining along the to join like the top to the sides or the back to the sides, I use these blocks, little triangular blocks, which I have to individually hand stick on. I think it makes the guitar, the construction it does make the guitar lighter, and it gives the top or the back more surface to stick to the sides, so it should essentially make it stronger and lighter. And then you can work on the connecting the neck to the body. So there's a block inside the body which you have to make a join to the neck, which I do a mortise and tenon kind of thing, which is hidden. But I've been working on a new neck design where the heel of the neck is actually set into the body, which I've not seen anyone do this yet. So hopefully it will catch on a bit and get a few people interested. So that's a exciting new design I've come up with.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to get some photos of that up as well actually. So
kind of adds
people can see. It's a
sort of modern
kind
of look.
It does,
acoustic guitar is quite a traditional shape.
Yeah.
So you retain that.
It's not changing too much, but
it's kind of. It's more modern looking.
And it is kind of function over form as well, because you do, the reason why it is like that is so you can access the frets higher up the fingerboard, but it also does look nice. So it takes a bit of inspiration off all sorts of designs, like, I don't know, I'm into design in all kind of forms, like whether it's cars or whatever really, like you can kind of take inspiration off all of these things, really.
Is that you who came up with, I mean, I'm not a guitarist, so I don't know, but is that you who made the whole, had the idea of the whole?
Oh, the soundboard, no, also there's quite a few makers who are doing this at the minute, and I've kind of just taken inspiration from them.
For those who can't see, there's a hole in the soundboard
in the sides, so
so they can hear better what they play.
That's it, yeah. So it's like essentially a monitor for the player who's playing the guitar. This is a little sound hole in the side, and you can hear a difference when you put your hand over it as well. It does sound completely different while you're playing it. I think it is a nice touch. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and you don't really need it, but it's I feel like it does. It does give the player a bit more clarity of while they're playing, I guess.
Yeah, cool. And you also do other types of guitars, so electric guitars. Is that the same process?
It's different. It is a bit different, to be honest, electric guitars, because it's all solid bodied. So it's more kind of a lot more drilling and routing and stuff like that to for the pickup cavities and stuff. So it is less work, I'd say, an electric guitar, but it's I feel like building acoustic guitars is a little bit more satisfying because you have a little bit more control on how it sounds.
Yeah.
Whereas an electric guitar is more about the electronics and the pickups and the amp you're plugging it into.
Yeah. Really,
I mean the woods will affect it very slightly, but on an acoustic guitar, the choice of woods will affect how it sounds a lot. Yeah. A lot more, really. Yeah.
So, can you give us a price range of your guitars.
Yeah, so my guitars are, as they're completely hand built, I can't really build one for less than about 3,500 really, or three and a half is kind of what they start at. For a parlour guitar, it's a maybe a little bit cheaper, but yeah, it takes around, I'd say, 300 hours to build one.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Plus the materials.
And then plus the materials, yeah. So it'll cost around £1,000 in materials. So I'm probably if I'm speccing one up, if I charge £1,000 for materials, I'll still be earning about £10 an hour or less if at the end of the day. But it's what I love doing. So I have to take a loss at the minute, but hopefully I'll be able to sell them for a lot more one day.
So what's the benefit of having one of your guitars compared to another cheaper guitar, and what are the differences? I presume they must be cutting cost on some elements, and that sounds not as good. But
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of differences in the materials. A lot of the cheaper guitars nowadays they're all laminated wood, so instead of having a solid top and solid back and sides, they're all kind of basically plywood, laminated tops and backs. But I mean, a lot of them still sound really good, to be honest. For the price as well, you can't really go wrong. But my guitars are more aimed for enthusiasts and professionals, really, who are, and they're almost like what's the word, heirloom kind of guitars as well. So they want to be passed down through generations, I guess. It's kind of something that's it doesn't really lose their value, I'd say. Whereas you can buy any old guitar from a shop for 500 quid or whatever, and it will be a fantastic guitar, but it just doesn't have the same character really, or they won't sound as good either really. They'll sound good, but I mean it's a hard one to put a finger on the difference in sound, but once you're playing it, you can tell the difference.
These are wholly personal instruments, aren't they? You know, like you said, you go through timbre and many other things in terms of the design, so someone can get exactly what they want, and you can't. That's not something you can just go into a shop and buy. I mean, you can.
That's it.
You like, you know,
you like what you're after.
No one else is gonna have that guitar that you have. It's very personal.
Yeah, and I guess also only those who play the guitar will be able to tell whether they sound really good or not. It's the same for when you play drums, or you can definitely hear the sound between those that are really cheap and those that are more expensive, and there's more effort, and there's more refined materials. Same as pianos. I won't name any brands, but you can clearly hear the really top end, the difference between top end pianos and the low ends. So, talking about sounding, can you we can make us a few demos?
I'll play a few chords. I've got an old Washburn here to compare them to, so we can we've got what should we try first? Shall I play the Washburn first so we can hear the difference?
So this is
a cheap Washburn. Kind of dreadnought.
Like a beginner guitar, really. So if you're just getting into it, something that I play.
It doesn't sound in tune, does it?
I don't know. I'm not.
Terrible,
I used to be much better at this.
Maybe I should play this one.
Just play a few chords or something and you play the same chords.
Sounds like the frets are bloody off.
So this guitar isn't one of Zac's, just to be clear.
Yeah, maybe I'll play another one. That's trying to get a gist for a couple of chords, but let's try play those same chords. Yeah, I use that Madagascar one actually. This is probably the nicest sounding one. Get an idea of how long it'll ring for as well. Bit of an idea there. Shall I try that other Indian rosewood one?
Yeah.
See what that sounds like. Not the most interesting thing to play.
Maybe if you do like a open ear or something.
Yeah.
Just to hear how long it rings for.
Yeah, you can.
Get a bit more of an idea from just playing a chord, I think, don't you?
So
Yeah.
the sustain or release, however you want to call it, what in the design of the guitar influences how long a note will be held for?
I think the bracing on the top, like the soundboard, that makes. Oh, I'm a bit far away from the mic, aren't I? Yeah, the build on the soundboard, like the bracing, will affect that most. I think. I think the back and the sides and like the timber choice on the back and sides is probably not quite as influential on the sustain or the release of a chord or note. But I think how the thinner the top, obviously you don't want to be too thin because it will lose its kind of structure, but there's a margin where it can sound really good, I think, on the thickness of the top, and then obviously the bracing, if it's over braced and all the bracing's really thick pieces of wood, basically it's going to dampen and deaden the top. But if it's kind of it's like a happy medium, I think. On all the braces I do on the they're all tapered from the so the treble half of the soundboard. All the braces are quite tall and thin, kind of triangular kind of profile to them, and then they're all tapered to a low, kind of curved round, a bit wider on the bass side, which this is kind of a theory that David Anthony Reid, who's another guitar maker I mentioned earlier, he's been basing his bracing off that theory. So I think it works. I mean, the guitars have made sound amazing in my opinion, so it's worked for me.
The
but
proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Yeah. But it does mean it takes a bit longer to make the braces, and it's got its kind of what's the disadvantages? The bloody how long it takes to make. But
do you make everything yourself? Or there's pieces. What are the pieces that you have to make yourself, and other pieces that don't require you making them?
Right. Yeah. So I pretty much make every component myself, apart from
that's pretty
the
amazing.
bridge pins and the machine heads. So I'll make and the fret wire, obviously I don't make that, but I do all the fret work, and pretty much every component is made. I make. I think that gives it another kind of handmade touch almost, because you've got one person focusing on every component rather than a whole guitar being on a production line where someone's doing one bit, someone's doing another bit, if you know what I mean. So I think that that does impact on how the guitar sounds as well, probably.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're making everything yourself. And how did you learn it? Did you learn it during your course? Did you learn it after, and you gradually learn new skills?
Yeah.
How do you keep up with that?
So I'd say I probably did learn the majority of it on my course, but certain bits I've kind of I've done my own way, because I thought I could improve how I did it before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's always room for improvement, I guess, when you're making. So it's just kind of figuring out how to do it so it's perfect. There's no imperfections, and that's the really hard bit, because the amount of things that I've had to redo. Like I've had so many times I've glued the neck on and had to heat it up, get the iron on it, and take it off because the angle's not quite right to the body, or I've glued the bridge on and it's lifted up at the back because I found that I used to do quite a lot of pyramid bridges, which was kind of like the old Martin design, and I found they're because they're only about an inch thick, or deep, wide, however, they do lift up at the back, so it's kind of altering the design features so they're a bit more effective, I guess.
It does look like you really need to be a perfectionist, an absolute perfectionist, to make guitars like this. Like earlier you were showing us how the two pieces just clamp to each other. It's just a 1/10 of a millimeter close and detailed is incredible.
It's tricky. A lot of the joins you've got to do that you've got to get a piece of Rizzler, and if you can get that underneath, it's still not quite the joint's not there, so you've got to get it until it's bang on. So it's that's a frustrating bit when you take a little bit too much off one side and then there's a gap the other side, and it's just kind of
and that leads on to me asking you, have you had any failings? Do you have to redo some pieces like completely from scratch, or like there's a guitar you have to like just throw away because it's not been done properly, or somebody's not happy with it?
So I've got a guitar in there that's kind of half built that I started probably around 2 years ago, and I've just not got around to. I need to basically rebuild the whole thing because wood's always constantly moving, depending on the humidity and temperature, and like the water content and stuff in the air. It's that guitar basically. The back's sunk in, so I need to take the back off and re-brace it, and then the top's sunk in a certain place as well. So I've got to basically take. It's basically a full body of a guitar that's been put together, but I've got to completely take it apart and redo every bit of that basically. So that's been sat in there for the last year and a half because I've just not got around to taking it apart and redoing it yet. So it's
you just lose the motivation.
Yeah, you lose the motivation for it, exactly. Yeah, so on that one I'm going to take it completely apart and make it into my new shape, because that was going to be a kind of a 000 Martin style guitar, but because I've got to rebuild it, I'm gonna change it a bit, I think. So that'll be, I've just got to figure out how to get the motivation to try and start that again. But
So that, I presume that guitar is just you who wanted to make it. It's not been an order.
No, that's not an order. It's that was just I had another set of wood and I thought I'd make another one, really, basically. In a bit of free time, but I've just not got around to doing any more on that, really. Which is it is frustrating, but that is the most frustrating thing I think about building guitars, because I've had a few other guitars that I've built where the back's sunk in and you've got to take the back off and re-brace it, and it's just like you've got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward or whatever. But
Yeah.
It's like that with a lot of things, I guess, isn't it? Yeah. You come across mistakes and things that. Yeah, with movement of wood as well, it's not even a mistake. You one time I left a guitar for about 2 weeks over Christmas time, and I came back and the whole back had, instead of being radiused out, it had gone in. So it was like it domed in. So I had to redo that as well. But yeah, that is annoying.
Yeah, it's crazy how sensitive instruments are, and well, obviously they go off tune depending on the temperature. So I guess when you try to make a guitar and the humidity or the temperature changes massively.
It's a nightmare. It's I even a few weeks ago I was doing the channels for the binding, and I went and did it outside because it was so hot. But that was probably a bad idea in the end, because I went outside and the heat outside, literally, I saw it happen in front of my eyes. It was just sent a crack all the way down the back of a guitar.
Really?
Yeah, so it down a piece of ebony. It was a ebony back and sides, and I could just hear it. I could hear like then it just started appearing. It was God, it's so annoying because it just gives you so much more work to try and fix it then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And how is it to start making guitars? Did you have an order as soon as you left your course, or you were already making one? And is it a hard job? Are you making a living out of it, or you're looking to do it? What's your
so I couldn't do it straight away, as like you say, I didn't have any orders or anything like that. So I when I finished my course, I started a carpentry job, like cabinet making, down in London, and I did that for a year, and then I moved back up here to try and focus on this while I was doing other little jobs, basically. And then I got in with this shop in Oakham that just opened up, Moonflower Guitars, and then they sorted me out with quite a bit of repair work and setups. So that allowed me to do that while I was building a few kind of prototype guitars that I could take photos of, and basically bring a bit of an attention to my guitars that I was making. And since then I've managed to get a few orders in, sell a few in the shop, so that's kind of just about making a living. But I've also been doing other jobs on the side, so hopefully I can just start getting into doing it a bit more full time, and sell a few more guitars. But that's the hard bit, is selling them, I guess. I can make them. I mean, the last few weeks I've been up till midnight working on them, kind of just to get it done, because I don't have the time to do them in the day when I've got repairs on and stuff like that, because that's the kind of the priority when it comes to earning money, I guess. But
do you have is there any events where you can go and to show your guitars? This booths, or I don't know.
Yeah, there's quite a few guitar shows actually. I need to get down to a few more. There was one in Northampton that I went to a few months ago, but there's quite a few. Quite a few around the country really that you can go to. I need to start booking a few stands for them now. I've got a few more guitars available. That'll be definitely good to get to a few of them.
It's the hard bit. You've got your product, but then people need to know about it. And you need to talk about it, show it more.
That's it. Get it to people.
Do you get any orders or interest from your website or Instagram?
I've had quite a few repair jobs and people contacting me about doing bits on their guitar and stuff like that. But I've not had many. I've not had any orders from online actually, because most people who have been interested have seen my guitars in the shop in Oakham, and then they've contacted me because they want something similar, or they want a guitar making to their specification or whatever. But it'd be good to get work on my website a little bit more to get maybe
more traction.
A bit more traction online. It's I've just done my website myself though through Wix, so it's kind of you're kind of limited to. I don't know. Actually, it's good Wix to be fair. Actually,
Yeah, it's good to start.
It's good to start a website on, isn't it?
Do a brochure website.
It's
Good. Then if you need to do a more detailed website.
Yeah, if you need more custom kind of pages and stuff.
It's more complicated, yeah. But yeah, that's how you need to do, and I guess you need to be present a lot on Instagram and constantly show what you're doing.
Yeah. It'd be good to get a YouTube channel up and running actually, and get videos of people playing my guitars, because I've had a few people who have contacted me asking for sound clips and stuff like that, which I've just not got around to recording. I need to get a good player and to get some sound clips.
Yeah, you could even start a vlog showing how you do things, and people will understand the effort that's behind it.
Time lapse.
Time lapses are good actually as well. Yeah, in the making.
Like however many days, 300 hours, but in like
10
half,
minutes.
20 minutes or something.
Do that with your phone.
Yeah.
And,
I've done a few time lapses, but I've not got around to doing like
it's a lot of filming, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll start doing something and I'll just completely forget to set my phone up or set the camera up, and then but it's just getting into the routine of doing that, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. It takes a lot of effort. I mean, haven't done any YouTube stuff yet, but I know it takes some time.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's and then you got the editing side as well, haven't you? All of that stuff, but it would be good to do. To be fair, I would like to do it.
It's probably worth it, especially if you've got really high-end guitars. Then you've got much more visibility on YouTube or any other social media.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Great. So, Jake, have you got any other questions?
I don't know. I think we've covered everything.
We could wrap it up.
It's good to chat anyway. Wicked,
it was great.
The 12
Oh yes.
yes.
I wanted to hear it as well.
Yeah, I forgot I've not played that yet. I'll play a few chords.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds nice, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That one.
well done. So, just to summarise, where can we contact you? We can contact you on Instagram, website, but can you give us all the details?
What else am I on? I think mainly on Facebook as well. Actually, yeah, I've got a Facebook thing set up.
What's your name on Facebook?
Facebook ZDB Guitars. It's the same on all of them actually. Probably I'm on my Instagram more than Facebook, to be honest. I normally just set my posts on Instagram to post on Facebook as well, but that's I think that's.
And if people want to perhaps see your guitars, what was the name of the shop?
So it's if you want to try any of them out or see them, then they're in Moonflower Guitars in Oakham, in Rutland. So it's a great little music shop. Check it out. Yeah.
And you'd like to play some very nice guitars, then
it's a very
pop in.
It's a very nice town.
It's a nice area.
British town.
Countryside town, definitely. Yeah.
Great. Good to spend some holiday there.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, cheers, Zach.
No worries. It's a pleasure.
All the best for the future.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Bye.